Today on a 50-pound brain, we're going to put our driver's seat in for real and hopefully put in the passenger seat for real as well, and some other stuff, whatever comes up. We have a goal, we have a drive we want to go on toward the end of this month, so we got to get chip chop chip on getting him street legal. So let's get going. So one thing I did do before we put this seat in is I don't know if you'll be able to see it, little nylon set screws in the old seat rail holes. Maybe you can see that. And the reason I did that is so that the bottom will be watertight. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. There you go. It's just to prevent another source of corrosion. Coated them with anti-seize, put them in with an Allen wrench, and as you can see, anti-seize has gotten everywhere. And there's a beautiful video, a short, that I'll leave a link to in the description that explains this phenomenon. Well, it doesn't explain the phenomenon, it just shows that it is very common for anti-seize, gear marking, grease, that kind of stuff to get everywhere before you know it. So let's put the seat in. So here's what we did. Here's our 3/8 inch spacer bar, just so that the adjustment handle can be pulled up and not hit the bottom. I mean, it still does, but it's released the locks by the time it's gotten to this point. So we had to do that, or otherwise we could never adjust the seat, and then we wouldn't have really accomplished anything. I'm trying to hold this, keep from falling and hold the camera at the same time. All right, let's put it in. Now, something I learned in aircraft battle damage school, aircraft battle damage repair school, is if you're drilling a hole and you want to chamfer the edges of the hole, you don't have a chamfer or a countersink or anything, you can use a way bigger than your hole drill bit and just take that sharp edge off. I don't know if you can see that, but it works real nice for getting the job done. I don't know if you can hear me, but we got two different tools to synchronize the two carburetors, make sure they're flowing the same rate. So I've got it set right now at 2,000 RPM. And this one's flowing 20 whatever. And this one's flowing 20 whatever. So they're pretty synchronized. If they weren't, you can use this tool as well, and to basically just make sure. This is more, I think, for sinking and idle. It just restricts it too much to run at above idle. But this one's is good. All right, now that the car's shut off, let me show you how I synchronize them. So I use the idle screws. You loosen up just one of these. This is just a tie rod between the two, and this flexible clamp allow for any throttle shaft misalignment. Loosen up one of these, make sure everything else is tight. I use the idle screws because each carburetor has an idle screw. Crank one to a certain RPM, which I get off the run box here. In this case, I used 2,000. When we checked it a second ago, I used 2,000 RPM. Set it, flow rate, come over here, and twist the idle screw till I get the same flow rate, and then tighten down whatever screw in here that I loosened, and check it, make sure they're all still flowing the same rate at different throttle settings. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now the other thing I was doing was doing air-fuel ratio, which, let me hook this back up and I'll show you. One of the things I did when I built this box and put in the exhaust manifold is I put in provisions for a wideband O2 sensor. And because it's a way better, see, we're sitting at, oh, it's gonna flash. Way better way of just reading plugs and all that stuff to try and tune this thing. So this doesn't have main jets and all that jazz like a regular carburetor, what we're used to here in America. Have these dash pots, which are more like a motorcycle style setup. If you're familiar with motorcycle carburetors, they have the slide with the needle in the center, and that's what these have. There's a needle down in there. I don't know if you can see it because of my fat thumb, but it's there. And they get drawn up by throttle setting through passages built into the carburetor. And so to adjust mixture, these nuts right here adjust the height of the needle receptacle, main jet, I don't know what it's called. I could look in the catalog, but it doesn't matter for this discussion. But it adjusts the height because the needle's beveled and the jet has got a bevel into it as well. And so you're just adjusting the schedule, the relationship between the needle and the jet. Going up will, as you go up, it gets narrower and narrower for any given point on the needle, and you come down and it gets fatter. So because we're sitting at, I don't know, 4,500 feet, something like that, I've had to bring these up quite a bit. They're tuned for a way lower altitude. And yesterday when I pulled plugs, it showed because those babies were black. So I've just been slowly tuning these, driving it around, getting it up to temp to tune these, get these, and unfortunately this is one gauge for all 4 cylinders, so it's kind of an average. I'd have to read plugs to see if I need to. Right now what I've been doing is adjusting them both the same. If I put a flat, you know, rotate it one flat here, I did the same over here. Now I can go to the plugs and see if there's something different, because I don't have 4 O2 sensors, one in each exhaust passage. So it's the best I can do with what I've got, which is better than what they had in 1957. But I can tweak if the back 2 are running, if these 2 are running richer than these 2, you know, or different mixtures, I can adjust it accordingly and get it close. So now we just need to straighten out ignition timing, because I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. The vacuum advance line hooks right here, the vacuum line over to the distributor, and I don't have the right fittings, and it's the wrong distributor for the line that I do have, because the line I have is real narrow, and this takes a fat vacuum line. So there's some things I got to figure out. Probably just try and get a new fitting that'll take a fat rubber line, same size as this, so it's the same on both ends, and then we can do a really fine tune on it. But it's still fun to drive. Here's our windshield frame. I think I showed you that already. And it's, so if you look at this, the height,
my top of my head is like here. So if I drive this on I-15, I'm still gonna get beamed in the head with rocks and whatnot. So I'll have a pretty face at my funeral, just no top of my head. So it's the perils of living large in sports cars. Be all James Dean like. Okay, so if any of you are watching, because you're putting a TR3 together, the vent flap thing, I forget what they call it, some kind of British term. But here's how it goes together. I don't know if you're going to be able to see down in there, but this spring, hold on, let me get a light. Okay, so there's, on this linkage setup where this bolts into, there are two little fingers. Like I said, I don't know if you can see them. Let me see if I can zoom this thing. Not while I'm recording. Okay. But there's two little fingers right here that this spring sits in. You know, maybe you can see it, but I just can't tell on the viewfinder here. And it's dusk. So that goes in there, and it's going to hook into here, into these, once everything's put together. But the first thing we got to do is get, this is our actuator rod from the dash right here. Got to get that hooked in with this little clampy thing. Sorry to use all this jargon and this technical language when doing this. So let me show you what we're doing. Now I got super magnets stuck to everything. And then when it's all said and done, it looks like this. Now I've got a pit pin in there instead of whatever is supposed to go in there. Because like I said, this is not a restoration. This is a resurrection. Oops. And I don't know if you'll be able to see down in there. Probably not. But push the knob on the dash and bam. It's closed and doesn't fit great, just like everything else. It's probably going to interfere with the hood opening, which is awesome. Okay, now our max AC works, but it required a re-rig of the hood. So lesson learned, make sure all these panels are in place when you go to install and adjust the hood. But like I said before, I'm pretty sure that this hood's out of whack because the face mounts are out of whack here on the wheel well. Let me show you. These two right here, they've both been, I don't think that's a stock weld on the wheel well. So maybe it is. I just can't see it being that horrible, but I think it's too far back this way. And I'm probably, you know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch max would be a beautiful thing, but now I know, and I'm not taking it all back apart to do it. So my loss is your gain. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, I found a nice big chunk of, I think what is supposed to be the vacuum line from the carbs to the distributor. Here's the fitting, goes in the bottom of the carb. That's nasty. But it's pretty fat, and so I don't know that I would be able to get, in fact I got to hog out this nut to fit this, which is okay. But I need to put some kind of flare on here. So we're going to use our Eastwood's brake line flaring tool. Eastwood, not a sponsor. I wish they were. Holy cow, that'd be awesome. But this tool is pretty stinking awesome as far as making lines. I will admit it's been a minute since I've used this thing, And I could go and read the instructions, but what fun is that? We'll do that if everything else fails. Okay, I do remember, crank this down, operation 0 on the handle. Bring this in. Oh, I gotta tighten this down, I guess. My bench vise just sits on the bench here. Okay. Which does make things a little bit more difficult, but not terribly. Okay. Oop, no. Okay, so we do that. Loosen this up. Bring our line in to where everything butts up. Tighten this down. Let this go. We're doing 3/16 line. Operation 1. Yeah, this would be nicer if this thing was down. It was fastened. Operation 2. That might be. I may have done the wrong style flare. Let's see. I think I wanted the bubble flare, and I got, well, yeah, kinda. But the fitting, I think it's too big. Yeah. Probably should just do Operation 1. I think Operation 1 would get us where we need to be, and then I curved it back in, which may have messed it up. So let's cut this off and do it again. Okay. So the more I think about it, the more I look at this, I think we'll just go right to Operation 2, which will just give us a little bit of a bevel flare. That's all we really want. That's all we're looking for, just something. Let's see. And it's not gonna. Yeah, no, that's not gonna do it. Alright. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Maybe that's just what we want, just this first operation. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think that's what we're looking for. I just hope the bubble's not too wide for a fitting. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. That's what we want right there. Can you see that? Man, we did good. All right. Now I just gotta hog out that nut to fit this line. Okay, and there it is. Ready to install on the carburetor now and run it over to the distributor. This is just a lot of grunting and groaning and bending and getting my big fat hands in places that are really tight on this car, so I'll show you when it's all done. Okay, here's our vacuum line right here. It's all its ghetto bends going to the distributor, but it runs pretty good. Just got to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the throttle linkage, which it doesn't. Yeah, some of our bends, especially down at that first fitting, are kind of bad, but I can make another one. I think I probably will actually at some point with better bends. I was using some crap Harbor Freight bending tool, and it's crap. So it made some very sharp, ugly bends. I don't know if you can see them in there. Right there. But does the job. The other thing we did is we put the trunk lid on. So it looks real nice. I just got to put the latch handle on. That's part of the fine details, those little dealios that go there. And then the bumper overrider things in the back, which I have. I just got to do it. So we got a lot done today, but it's getting hot in the garage, and I've been at it pretty much all day. So we're gonna shut down for today, try and relax a little. Tuesday I'm supposed to be getting an engine for Vivian, so I'm going to be gutting out the engine compartment on the Mazda. So I'm going to rest up tomorrow to get ready for that, to do that Monday. So thanks for watching. I'll keep you informed of what goes on here. We have our goal to do the Alpine Loop drive with the British Car Club at the end of the month. So that's what we're striving for.